just going to wait for you guys to tune in. Let me go live on Instagram and Facebook. Good morning. Good morning, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Let me make sure my YouTube is working. Good morning, Geraldine. Miss Corona, good morning. Future 100, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Are you in Georgia? Yes, I am. If this is your first time tuning in, definitely, leave a comment. Let me know so I can give you a shout out. Pinder Powell, good morning. Vivian Forbes, good morning. Romy on YouTube, Heavenly and Hopi on YouTube, good morning to you as well. For those of you who don't know me or are tuning in for the first time, my name is Ayesha Chidole. I'm an immigration lawyer. I represent clients with their U.S. immigration matters internationally and locally, as long as you're looking to immigrate to the United States. We handle humanitarian and family-based immigration. Marriage-based cases, parents, children, spouses, siblings, also VAWA cases, T cases, U visas, and things like that. Okay, let me just jump right into it. I just got my F1 for college. Can you help me? What do you need help with? You already have your F1, so you should make sure you go to school so that they don't say that you misrepresented yourself. Let's see. Good morning, Luscious Jelly from New York. Sandy from New Jersey, good morning. Jamaican Men Cook, good morning. It says, good morning, best thing to Grace Immigration Law. Thank you. Good morning from California. It's super early in California. Good morning. Heavenly says, I received my green card through VAWA. Can I petition for my boyfriend who was undocumented? He came to the U.S. via a U.S. visa and overstayed. So if you're a green card holder, first of all, you can't petition for your boyfriend. He has to be your spouse. That's number one. Number two, in order for you to petition for him after he becomes your spouse, you would have to be a U.S. citizen to allow him to adjust his status in the United States. Otherwise, he's going to need to leave the U.S. And before he leaves the U.S., he's going to need to get a 601 A hardship waiver approved. So that's how that process works. Kamidata from Atlanta, good morning. Estlin Facebook says, Esther says, good morning. For your 2022 VAWA clients, have you started getting approvals for them? I honestly don't pay attention to when my clients' dates are, to be honest, when I receive the approvals, unless I see an extraordinarily short time. So I can tell you from memory, we get VAWA approvals on a daily basis. I can certainly check so that I can, let you guys know on the next live, the timeline that we're seeing. But that being said, it's never a good idea to compare yourself to another applicant because everybody's application is different and every officer is different. You might have someone that is reviewing a different case. They might have a series of RFEs. They might have a series of background checks. They might have a series of verifications they're doing based on their qualified marriage or good faith marriage that can affect the timeline. So it's not really a good idea to compare yourself to the applicant. Just because everybody's application is different. And so the decisions are made differently. As long as you personally fall into the normal window of approval, you should be good. Okay. Is the 48-month extension automatic for every I-751 submission? Yes, this is an automatic. When you submit an I-751, which is a removal of condition application to remove the 2-year conditions on your green card, so you can get a 10-year, automatically you get a 48-month extension. And this is for everyone because that extension is essentially your receipt. So that's standard for everyone. And you hold on to that extension until they make a decision on your case. Most cases take 2 years. to 3 years. And so that's why they give you that long-term extension. That being said, this month, we have definitely had a lot of our own clients where we're seeing I-751s approved in like 5, 6, 7 months, which is really lightning fast. And I just hope this is kind of like a precedent, like something that's going to start happening more often. I'll find out more as we see more, but like that's great, for a lot of people, if that's going to be the new processing time. Sunny Sun, good morning. Thank you. Need your services. How do I get in touch with you after your live stream? Click on the link in my bio. It should have my phone number, our website. You can give us a call, 407-995-6567. You can also call our 678 number, which honestly, I don't remember off the top of my head right now. Wait, let me see. Scrolling through the tickets, 678-325-1037. You can also send us a message on WhatsApp. We don't take calls on WhatsApp, but you can message us with your contact, 404-333-8751. And then we can schedule for a consult. Hi, make it make sense from Miami. Just got a notice that they received my RFE for my medical with VAWA. Can you tell me what happens next? What happens next? Why did this thing just create a filter? Just hold on, guys. Let me take this filter off. Okay, it's off. Yeah, so with your when you submit an RFE, generally for VAWA, when they request your medical, 2 things can happen. 1, they can either schedule you for an interview, or 2, they can approve your case. I will tell you that we're seeing more interviews being scheduled with the new administration. So I would say err on the side of being scheduled for an interview. If you're not scheduled for an interview, great. But almost always prepare for an interview in this administration. We're definitely still seeing a lot of people being bypassed for interviews, both for conditional green cards, both for marriage green cards, both for family green cards, and both for VAWA green cards, for sure. We're definitely seeing a lot of that for sure. But we're also still seeing a higher number of interviews as well, because like I've been in interviews back to back, like all month and all of February. So we're definitely seeing a lot of that as well, but we're definitely still seeing it without. Okay, let me read this one. YouTube says, I filed for VAWA in December of 2024. My wife abused me and she has left me. I just received a notice of intent to deny for the I-130 she petitioned for. What should I do? Well, nothing. It's not your application. It's not your notice of intent to deny. So you can't really defend or respond to an I-130 because that's your abusive wife's petition. So just focus on your VAWA application. Okay. If my process was withdrawn, can I do the process again? Would need to know what you're referring to in particular, so I can provide my opinion, of whether you should be filing again. Okay, let's see what else. I'm Abraham from Colorado. I have a pending I-130 and I-485, but my wife, who's white and a U.S. citizen, keeps on abusing me every now and then. She started hitting me and breaking glasses. Okay, definitely schedule a consult with us. You might be eligible for a VAWA petition. Always need to speak with potential clients or consult with consults, to see if they're eligible for VAWA and go over the requirements of it for them. Because if you're eligible, then you would have another route to file, and then you can just request an abeyance of the current case that you have pending. I already have an EAD. My VAWA got approved, and it says card was mailed. What card did they mail? I already got the EAD. Is it a green card or another EAD? So this is a good question. It's another EAD. So when you apply for VAWA and include an adjustment of status application to your application, you can typically request advanced parole, not advanced parole, but you can request advanced parole too, but you can typically request a work permit based on the pending case, the pending I-485. And that work permit is usually a CO9, and a CO9 would include sometimes a combination card. It can be a combination card of a work permit and a travel permit. So that work permit is basically saying that we're giving this to you because your case is pending, okay? Now, when you get approved for VAWA, meaning the actual I-360, you're given another card, another work permit. This one will not be a combination card. This is going to be a C31, but that cannot be issued unless your case is approved. So if your case is approved, you will receive that. If your VAWA case is approved, you receive a C31, which comes with what we call deferred action, which is deferment from deportation, and the C31 EAD while you wait to adjust your status or while you wait to terminate proceedings, depending on what stage of your case, you're in. So that's how it varies. Macon says, how long does it take to get a decision after USCIS receives RFE? There's nobody that can give you a timeline. There's no timeline to give. Every officer is different. There's no published timeline. There are 100 million case types. You just got to wait. Some people, it could be 30 days. Some people, it could be 3 days. We had a client was submitted his RFE on Thursday, it was an overnight. They got it on Friday, and it was approved yesterday. There are other people, you submit RFEs, response, you may not get anything back for 6 months. Other people for a year. So it just really depends on the case, so, and what it is that they're requesting from you to make a decision, or do you have an RFE that's leading to a NOID because you're doing some investigation? So you're just going to run yourself ragged trying to figure out or calculate a timeline, because there is no published timeline, because every single RFE and case is different. Now, if you have certain petitions, there are what we call aspirational timelines of when a case can be processed. But again, remember that's 80% of cases, and most likely cases that don't have any issue, meaning cases that don't have an RFE or a NOID, or they're not going to do a fraud investigation, they're not coming to do a home visit, or any of those things. So whenever you see timelines on USCIS website saying, oh, this is how long it takes to process an I-485, this is how long it takes to process a VAWA case, this is how long it takes to process an N-400, what you need to understand is that is kind of like an aspirational goal. That means that timeline is something where they're thinking 80% of people will be in that timeline, which means that the others could be either before or after, so there's no, you can't say, like sometimes people will say, oh, my USCIS online app says that, it's going to be 2 weeks before a decision on my case. And then the next thing you know, it changes it to 12 weeks. And that is why I always say those things mean absolutely nothing until they make a decision on your case. Like, it means nothing. But I guess I can see that because I deal with this on a daily basis. So I kind of know how it goes. Okay, Arlene says, I have a green card. Can I travel outside of the United States to Jamaica? My son fail is going to a problem. Not really sure I understand what you're saying about your son, but green card holders are eligible to travel outside the United States, just like you're eligible to work. Now, if you have a 2-year green card versus a 10-year green card, they're differentiators, to be differentiated. So I don't know what kind of green card you have. So I am just going to go on the assumption that you have a 10-year green card. If you have a 10-year green card, which you didn't obtain by fraud, you're not in removal proceedings, you didn't potentially just submit like a case to USCIS for a naturalization where they determined that you got your green card via fraud, there's absolutely no problem. Okay, you said 10-year. So then there's absolutely no problem traveling if you meet basically what I just said, okay? Can you tell me how long a case stays at NVC for a child under 21? Right now, they're processing cases from 2022. All right, hold on. I'm going to check for you. So you guys give me a second. Let me just pull up the visa bulletin. I know they haven't released April as of yesterday. Oh, look at that. They released it yesterday because I checked this yesterday and it wasn't there. So let's see, and I will tell you what it's looking like for April. So right now, and if you have a child, what was the question again? I think I passed it. You said, how long will a case stay at embassy for a child under 21? So, okay, what I should have gotten from you is to clarify, is this a child of a green card holder or is this a child of a U.S. citizen? If it's a child of a green card holder right now, they're processing cases from January of 2022. Anything before that, they'll be processing. So if you filed like now or whatever it is, then, you're obviously looking at a 3-year wait time. If you filed, in 2024, then you're looking at a 2-year wait time. If you filed in 2023, you're looking at a 1-year wait time. If you are a U.S. citizen and the child that you filed for is under 21, right now there's immediate availability. It's just a question of when you finish with a national visa center and you've been documentary qualified, it's a question now of your consulate and when they're able to schedule you for an appointment. And that answer is going to be dependent on what country you're from. Some countries are going to have a longer timeline, and other countries are going to have a shorter timeline. So for instance, Nigeria, I will tell you, like with Nigeria and like Kingston, Jamaica, generally with Nigeria, we tend to see about exactly a year from the time of being documentary qualified to the time when you're scheduled for an interview. That's what we see with Jamaica right now. And it used to be about a year. Now we're kind of seeing like 7 months, 8 months. Again, all of this is, these things keep moving. So we'll see. But that's kind of what you should expect. How long do VAWA cases take to get approved? They take 2 to 3 years for most people. Some people, it's going to be more than that. Again, all of this is very dependent on your, is going to be dependent on what's going on in your case. Have you received RFEs, NOIDs, investigation? Like, it all varies, and one thing that I'm observing since the Trump administration, and I feel like I need to point it out because people literally have no idea, is that, where people are eligible for VAWA applications, and then all of a sudden, they believe Trump is in, and all of a sudden they've met somebody and they want to get married, whether, not really sure like why they're rushing into those marriages or believing that somehow that's going to save them. It is worse for you. Going to go marry someone that you absolutely don't know after coming out from an abusive marriage because a person's like, okay, I'll marry you, or whatever it is. And then, you find yourself in the same position where the person is now abusive to you or is now controlling you because you're relying on them for your green card when you were eligible before to file for VAWA, but the minute you get married, you're no longer eligible. So you want to make sure that when you're jumping the gun to marry someone, that you truly know and love that person, and you know that that person is never going to do something like that to you. Because let me tell you all, I can't even say 9 times out of 10. It's always 10 times out of 10. Like, I'm not even kidding. Ask anyone that works here. 10 times out of 10, every person, not 9 times, 10 times out of 10, every person that does that ends up getting screwed over and ends up begging us to file their case again with the second person. And by that time, they would have wasted so much time where they could have already been a green card holder through his VAWA self-petition, And if you're not new here, you would know that I say this all the time. It is never a good idea to make yourself reliant or dependent on someone else for your freedom. Because when you do that, there is a level of control that you've given that person that could repeat itself. Meaning, if you're in an abusive relationship and you had a good faith marriage, you did everything right, that person was abusive, and now you're eligible to file a self-petition based on VAWA. Yeah, so what? It takes 2 to 3 years. But during that time, you're going to have a 5-year work permit and a 5-year travel permit. It's essentially the same thing that you're getting as a green card holder, the ability to work and travel. But why not just get it on your own so that if you then just go marry somebody randomly after a month or 2 months. The person doesn't do that to you again. So I don't know, maybe I'm just old school, like, and I just, like I'm old, I'm not young, and maybe like it's a younger generation thing where people just like jump into marriages and expect that you jump into 1, 2, 3, 4 marriages, and you think that it's kind of like defining insanity. So to me, it's always better that you enter into a marriage on an equal footing. And what I mean by that is that when you come into a marriage, let it be that that person can never hold this on your head and say, oh, you're probably just marrying me because of a green card. And so I'm going to watch your every move to make sure that you're not using me or you're not doing all that. Right. And you, on the other hand, you're saying that this person is taking advantage of me because they know that I need a green card from them and blah, blah, blah. But if you both know that this is off the table, then you're coming as you are, right? And both of you are making those decisions on your own. So be very mindful of that. Yeah, sometimes I'm sure, it works out, or whatever the case may be, or, you get a 2-year green card and, before the 2-year mark is out, you're calling, crying, saying, this person has abandoned me, or this person is doing this to me, or whatever it is like. And I'm not just saying this, I'm saying it because this is what I see happen. So you just really need to be mindful when you jump into these relationships that you're making the decision that's best for you, because you can be in a relationship without marrying. And I don't want tomorrow someone will say that I told people don't get married, because listen, I've been happily married going on 16 years, and I think marriage is a beautiful institution if you have mutual respect and love each other. And there's nothing that either of you is trying to gain, and you ultimately know that you're on the same team and the same partnership. But a lot of times for immigrants, there are many people that are predators to immigrants, and vice versa, to U.S. citizens. So it is important that you don't just make marriage decisions so quickly, because these are supposed to be lifetime commitments. So you really want to make sure that you are able to vouch for or say somebody. I mean, and really, can you ever really know someone, even if you've been with them for a very long time? But basically, don't marry someone just because you're trying to move your immigration case fast if there's no love there and you don't trust that person and you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Okay. All right, guys, I got to jump off. Hope you guys have a good day. I am sorry I didn't get to all your questions. But I will be on live next week. All right, guys. Bye.